This is the article that I saw on Breitbart today, and let's start digesting some of this. Showdown looms as Tom Homan explores case against AoC for obstructing immigration enforcement. As you all know, AoC has been, for the last couple months, been giving advice to illegal immigrants, explicitly telling them how to avoid federal immigration agents, telling them how to avoid getting deported. And so Tom Homan and the Trump administration, they are not happy about it. And so now Tom Homan has given the Department of Justice a direct referral to potentially criminally prosecute Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AoC. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, on Friday dared border czar Tom Homan to arrest her for what she claimed was legal advice she gave to migrants on how to avoid being deported. And if you don't believe it, here is exactly what she said.
When we first did one of these seminars, Tom Homan, then acting director of ICE, said that he was going to threaten to refer me to the DOJ because I'm using my free speech rights in order to advise people of their constitutionally guaranteed protections, and he may want to do it again today. And to that I say, come for me.
God, if you are listening, please let Tom Homan arrest Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. If you can do me a favor, I know it's Saturday, it's not Sunday, but please lock her up. Please facilitate Tom Homan arresting this woman, this traitorous, hyper-progressive congressional representative, please, who is actively working to subvert our democracy, to subvert our Constitution, to subvert tax-paying Americans, to subvert the entire country. And you know what? They can arrest all of the people in the audience too. I don't really care either. If they're signing on to this, they can maybe get arrested also. This is what Tom Homan said a couple months ago about this DOJ referral. Take a look.
That up to DOJ, what I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how to evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. But what she in fact is doing is telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AoC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
No, I think
yes.
that's DOJ.
Yes.
Where's that line of impediment, of interference?
Just say yes. Yes, I think the DOJ should go after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for instructing illegal immigrant, invader, cartel gang member terrorists that are existing in this country illegally. I think the DOJ should criminally pursue her and lock her up. Yes, remember 2016? Lock her up. Yes, I think they should, absolutely.
Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on you, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
You have talked to them about this. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
We'll see where that goes. Tom Homan amounted to...
The phrase that comes to mind is crossing the Rubicon. Remember, it was Julius Caesar, I believe, who took his armies and marched across the Rubicon into Rome. There was a rule back in ancient Rome. The generals are not allowed to bring their armies across the Rubicon down into the Italian peninsula. You got to stay out. Caesar said, you know what? We're doing it anyway. We are crossing the Rubicon. It means like a very large substantive political maneuver. I hope that in one way we cross the Rubicon here. I think these people, these radical progressive deep state actors, politicians, people in the federal judiciary, maybe even Supreme Court Justice. We talked about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson in today's video earlier today. These people are actively working to undermine and destroy the country. No ifs, ands, or but. This is just like on the record. In fact, they're talking about it publicly. They think, listen, yeah, we should not be deporting illegal immigrants. In fact, we should have an open border and everybody should be welcome in the country, even if you're an MS-13 gang member, even if you're a terrorist, even if you're a wife-beating MS-13 Trendy Iraq. Doesn't matter. Come on in the country. In fact, we're going to have special cities. We're going to call them sanctuary cities to facilitate your entire existence. We're going to funnel billions of dollars of taxpayer money to keep you alive and to keep you housed. We're going to put you in 5-star hotels in New York. We're going to give you a monthly stipend. We're going to give you spending money and food. This has got to stop. This is traitorous behavior. This has got to stop. In this regard, I hope that the Trump administration crosses the Rubicon, so to speak, and puts an end to this behavior legally. I hope there's due process. I hope that these people have a trial. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But this behavior, the point is this behavior has got to stop. Homan responded to the Congresswoman's taunt by saying he was already exploring her arrest with the United States Department of Justice. So the video we watched here, this is from a couple months ago. This is breaking news as of today. So they are already exploring the possibility, the avenue that they can go down to arrest Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There is an ongoing U.S. Department of Justice federal investigation. The dare came at a packed town hall in Queens after Homan previously suggested Ocasio-Cortez's hosting of a, quote, Know Your Rights webinar in February impedes immigration and customs ICE enforcement from carrying out the Trump administration's deportation of illegal aliens. Here's the deal. This is my humble take as an American. If you are an illegal immigrant, you don't have a right to be here. You need to leave. The only right you have if you are an illegal immigrant in this country is the right to get the hell out of the country. That's the only right of yours I am concerned with. Ocasio-Cortez told a cheering audience, quote, Tom Homan said he was going to refer me to the DOJ because I'm using my free speech rights in order to advise people of their constitutional protections. To that, I say, come for me. Do I look like I care? Once again, please, by the end of the year, let AoC be inside of a federal prison. Please. That would be the best timeline because, once again, she is using her role, her position as a United States House representative. She is using that elected position to instruct people who are here illegally in the country, all of whom are terminologically criminals, a lot of whom are terrorist cartel gang members, how to avoid getting apprehended, detained, and deported by our immigration enforcement ICE. That's what she's doing with her elected position. This behavior has got to stop. It is traitorous, it is treasonous, it is whatever you want to call it. It's got to stop. She added, there was, quote, nothing illegal about it, and if they want to make it illegal, they can come take me. I really hope that we do. The webinar recommended illegal aliens ask for warrants and deploy phones to record ICE agents during their searches. It provided tips on how to differentiate between different warrants authorities are likely to carry. Homan can I just give my humble American opinion here? We're talking about due process, the Democrats, the radical progressives. You got to have due process for all of these illegal immigrant gang members. You can't just get rid of, this is how I feel, okay? The only due process that should be afforded to an illegal immigrant is verifying that they are, in fact, an illegal immigrant. Once we have determined you are, in fact, an illegal immigrant, we have met the due process, and now you are getting the hell out of the country. Anything beyond that, waste of time, waste of taxpayer money. Once we have determined verifiably, okay, this person is in fact an illegal immigrant, now you need to get out. Now we're putting you on a plane and we're shipping you back to Mexico or Guatemala or El Salvador or wherever you happen to be from. That's all. So I agree, due process, the due process of making sure that they are illegal before we get rid of them. Homan has repeatedly said that the Congresswoman likely ventured into, this is important, the Congresswoman likely ventured into illegal territory with her advice that she gave to these illegal immigrants. After AOC's town hall dare, Homan told Fox News, quote, I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AoC is going to be in trouble now. She ought to be in trouble. I really hope. I really hope. In an appearance in February on Sunday Morning Futures, Homan was a little bit more specific. Let's take a look at this here. What she needs to do is read the statutes enacted by Congress because it's a crime to enter this country illegally. True. Not only that, but when you harbor and conceal and impede law enforcement, that is a felony. Ladies and gentlemen, by giving all of these illegal immigrants advice on how to avoid apprehension, detention, deportation, is she impeding law enforcement? Is she aiding and abetting illegal immigrants? I think you can make a very strong case that yes, in fact, that is exactly what she's doing. And as such, felony, as such, federal crime, as such, you're going to prison. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we can only hope. Maybe someday soon. Not only that, but when you harbor and conceal and impede law enforcement, that's a felony. What she's doing, she says, she's educating everybody on their constitutional rights. And we all know that they've got constitutional rights, but what she's really doing, she's trying to teach them how to evade law enforcement. Yeah, Tom Homan is absolutely right. At the town hall yesterday, AoC also took on one of the Trump administration's most popular immigration policies. She called the removal of Venezuelan gang members, get this, sanctioned kidnappings. Once again, I'm going to give you guys my humble opinion here. Personally, I hope that every single Venezuelan gang member or illegal immigrant gang member, regardless of where they are from in the first place, I hope they are all kidnapped and deported back to their country of origin. I think all of them, every single one of them should be snatched off the street or their house or wherever they might be at the moment, put on a bus, put on an airplane, and shipped back to wherever they came from. We don't need Venezuelan gang members in this country. We don't need MS-13 gang members. We don't need human traffickers. We have enough domestic American citizen criminals. We can barely handle our own domestic criminals, okay? We don't need to be importing more criminals. We have enough criminals, okay? They all have to go. She claimed that without a warrant, agents don't have carte blanche to enter and arrest gang members. President Trump's highest approval ratings, polls consistently have shown, come from his tough crackdown on illegal crossings and removal of criminal illegal aliens and gang members. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, I'm 31 years old. When I think back to the Democrat Party of maybe, I don't know, 2000, maybe 2005, maybe 2010, I don't know. Back then, at least they pretended to champion, whether or not they actually did, they pretended to champion American causes. They at least pretended to be the party of the blue-collar worker, the party of the union worker, the party of the middle-income American. They don't even pretend these days. The Democrat Party in the year 2025, they've taken the mask off, and now just they've let the entire country know, hey, Democrat Party here, yeah, we officially are the party of illegal immigrant gang members. Democrats, yeah, we are now the official party of Tren de Aragua. We are now the official party of MS-13. They're not even pretending. They don't even bother to lie to the American public in that way anymore. Now they're just like, yeah, listen, we're going to spend all of our time, we're going to spend all of our energy and all of our resources defending illegal immigrant gang members and human traffickers and fentanyl dealers and whatever else terrible. That's what they do now. And so that kind of wraps up the AoC story here. Hey, listen, as we now know, there still to this day, there is an ongoing federal investigation into AoC and her aiding and abetting of illegal immigrant gang members. So this might materialize into something very soon.